Welcome to A Seat with Demi.
I'm Randy.
And today's episode, guys, I'm going to just warn you, it could be a little bit triggering. As you know, in our last episode, we spoke about childhood trauma, the different childhood traumas, the levels of childhood trauma, and just how it can affect someone. And so today we have special guests, model and actress Malan B, and she's going to come and share her story with us. I'm so happy to have her on here. We have been friends for many, many years, probably at least, 15, 16 years?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, at least 15 to 16 years. Worked together on several projects, and I have heard her story firsthand, but today we have her on, and we just want to hear from you, Malan, like where, I guess, the first thing is, what happened?
Okay.
What happened?
All right. Well, first, thank you, Demi and Randy, for having me today. Oh, it's time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? So, at the age of 5, I was molested. I was molested by my babysitter's husband. I know a lot of people tend to get molestation and rape confused sometimes. You know, I think a lot of us with a little bit more, I guess, knowledge on the topic knows, you know, the difference. You know, rape requires penetration, you know, a lot of times can be proven, you know, medically, but as far as molestation, you know, that could definitely, it could lead, you know, go over to rape, but at the same time, it could be things such as inappropriate touching, you know. Let me just leave it at that.
Now, was this someone that your family trusted?
I guess this was someone that they trusted. Although I don't think, you know, obviously the best judgment being that they didn't really know these people. This older lady, sweet lady, may she rest in peace, she was referred by someone of the church, I think.
Okay.
You know, a friend. And, you know, my parents were young, new to the area, worked full-time jobs, you know. They needed a sitter, you know, once I was out of school till they got off work or whatever. So that's how I, you know, ended up at this particular babysitter's house. And, you know, I remember at the age of 5, that's when he began to touch me inappropriately, asked me to come out back, you know, would pull out his penis, you know, tell me to touch it. And, you know, as a kid, I knew that wasn't okay. I was scared to say anything the first year because he kept a gun on the table beside his chair in the living area where we would pretty much spend most of the time when I was there. And I remember him telling me that if I told my mother, you know, he would kill her. So, you know, what do you think any child would do? Like,
They're not going to tell it because
Right.
they're afraid.
so, you know, that I battled with that, I know, like from the age of 5 to 6. And finally, 6 years old, I believe I was in the 1st grade. I felt comfortable with my guidance counselor at the time, you know, in elementary school. And I went to her to tell her what was going on because it wasn't just a one-time thing. This was pretty much almost every day after school.
Can I ask you a question? Did your parents know that he was there when you were being babysitted?
Yes, it was her husband.
But you know what I mean? I guess what I'm asking is, you know, when I think about a babysitting scenario, sometimes the husband may be at work and it just might be a occupation or a time filler because that person may be alone. That's why I was asking that question.
I understand. Yeah. No, I remember neither worked.
Okay.
So I think my parents just looked at it as two older people watching over me.
Okay.
You know, for a few hours, like 3 hours after school.
Okay.
So I remember telling my guidance counselor at the time, and she told me she was going to reach out, to my mom and let her know what I had told her. And of course, I told her, how scared I was, but, obviously she calmed me down enough to trust her and to ask, basically she has to let my mom know, whatever. So I'm like, fine. Well, I remember vaguely when she first found out, she did confront the lady and her husband about it. And, of course, they denied that being true. So, let her tell it. I've always lied about if it was a place I didn't want to be. So she felt like I was just making that up because I didn't want to stay there.
But what 5-year-old
Exactly.
can even remotely make up something like that? You know what I mean? Now, I'm just speaking as a mother, and I have 2 daughters, and at the age of 5, I mean, if they have never seen it anywhere, what reason would you have to make that up?
Yeah, because I just think about it like, think about my kids at the age of 5 and 6.
Yeah.
To go somewhere where they're going to be able to play, and not have to worry about mom and dad. You go somewhere else and you get to do little things that you didn't get to do at home. But for you to come back to me and say, I don't want to go there, first thing that should come to the mind is, why? Not, you just lie all the time. You can't lie all the time at that age, in my opinion. You got to take that stuff seriously. And I'm saying that to the public right now. Listen to your kids.
Listen to your kids.
Listen to your kids. This is coming from not listening to a baby. And that's what hurts me. Not listening to a baby.
So, of course, after she confronted them and they denied, it was pretty much, you're lying. I'm not moving you somewhere else. You're going to have to continue to stay here. So at that point, I think that's kind of when I first went into survival mode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because now I'm in an environment that I feel unsafe. And nobody's protecting me. So I got to protect myself. I battle with blaming what I'm about to share. But from 6 to 9, after school, I would pretty much go and sit next to him to allow him to touch me. I was scared. And at that point, I didn't want him to be mad at me. I really don't know what much else to say about that particular part, because I'm still, I'm still healing when it comes to, taking on the blame, but just doing, the best that I could at that time. Just like I said, again, an older man with a gun. No one believes me. Let me just go along to get along. That makes sense.
Yes, totally.
So, after that, I can honestly say I received a little bit of the validation I needed from the actual babysitter before she passed away. I remember one day she pulled me to the side and she told me, I lied to your mom because I'm scared of him. I saw him touching you one day when I was in the bathroom. I was looking out the door. So I know you're not lying. I know you're telling the truth. Shortly after that, the babysitter, she became really ill. She lost both of her legs. She wasn't in a position to care for me anymore. So my parents moved me next door to one of the local pastors and his wife. That was a pleasant environment, much better Like, that was kind of my
Yeah.
exit out of that.
Yeah.
Got you.
You know, and I want to say around the time I was there from like 9 to 11. So I definitely know between the ages of 9 and 12, the older man that molested me passed away. And it's a small community where I'm from. Everybody know everybody for the most part, or probably related in that neighborhood. So I guess, you know, also my mom felt like, I guess she had to pay her respects, you know, to the family. I don't know. But, you know, it was very traumatizing that I was forced to attend his funeral. I remember he had a son and other relatives who had been told that I had told my mom, you know, what his dad had done to me. I remember them, you know, mumbling under their breath, picking with me, you know, calling me the lying little girl. You know, just saying mean things to me in regards to what I had told that, you know, he was doing or whatever. And, you know, I just, for years, even now, you know, I just couldn't understand, like, why I was forced. Just, period, you know? But, you know, after that, I could say, you know, I began to struggle just with myself, my identity. I was afraid of men. You know, I had boyfriends in high school, and even then, one beat me up at church in the parking lot because I would have sex with him. And like I said, I think that obviously was the start of a lot of just inner conflict within myself and looking for love and protection in all the wrong places. So,
in that moment, ooh, somebody just did them and daddy like that. Like that. Just that little bit.
When I tell you the one thing that annoys me as a dad is when parents don't listen to their kids.
It's bullshit.
That's the biggest level of bullshit ever. How can you not? Kids are the happiest things walking around this planet. If a kid come to you and they in some type of distress, it's a reason. What happened? Because you left smiling. You don't have a level of responsibility for nobody. You're 5. I don't want to go back over there. Why?
Okay. So the question I have is in the moment when you were made to go to the funeral, like, how did that make you feel? Like, I couldn't imagine, even in knowing that this man that had prayed on me is dead. He can't touch you anymore. But in the moment of you going to the funeral, how did you feel?
I mean, at the time, I wasn't happy. I think I really felt kind of indifferent in regards to, I guess, him as an individual. Because it was like, although at that age I didn't understand it, it's like, you're gone now, but that trauma is still here.
It's still there. It's still there. And to me, in my opinion, that would be triggering. You know, even feeling indifferent about it, it would still be a trigger for me. Because here I am, I'm kind of happy that he's gone. He can't touch me. But then I'm sad at the same time because you're a child and you have those emotions. And it was just at a point to where you really couldn't filter through what and how to feel. One, you was 5 when it started. Secondly, your parents didn't believe you. They made you still go back over there and be babysat by the person that preyed on you. I couldn't imagine.
No, I couldn't.
I couldn't imagine. And the thing about it for me is, and me and Randy preach this all the time, listen to your kids. Okay, I know that we're adults and we have this whole thing like I'm your parent, I'm your mom, I'm your this and that. That's true, but you have to listen to your kids, because those are the times where you're not listening, where you're missing certain things like what happened to her, because you didn't want to listen, or maybe you were afraid of the conflict because you was worried about, well, how's this going to make me look if I really confront this person, because you want to have this certain look or image.
But then I ask myself, do we get this level of denial because of the scenario? Think about it in this capacity. I'm going to block out that there's an issue because I still need this babysitter because we work. And where else you gonna go? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not justifying it at all, but I'm just looking at it from trying to figure out why would a person deny this what this kid is telling them. And you know, I remember when I was young, I had it's like one babysitter. There weren't any other options. So maybe I just block this out because I still need this person. But now, later on down the road, like she said, I think she said between 9 and 12, a new option comes about. And it's a better environment for her. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's not right, regardless. Parents have to understand that it is your responsibility to be uncomfortable for your kids.
Now, we know that.
It's not your kids' responsibility to be uncomfortable because of your responsibilities.
That's it. So, as far as your relationship with your family now, how is that?
Right now it's pretty non-existent. Still to this day, you know, I battle with not being, you know, heard, not being protected. You know, it hurts when, you know, a person just doesn't want to accept and be accountable for, you know, the part they played, you know. Again, over the years, you know, I've taken responsibility to, you know, seek help with this issue. I could definitely say one of the books that has been a great help is by Ayanla Van Zant, Yesterday I Cried. It pretty much teaches that the pain of the past doesn't have to be your reality. And she walks you through, you know, basically sharing her own personal stories and how she, you know, addressed abuse and abandonment and all the many issues, you know, that she has had to face. And I found strength in that book. I'm a reader, so I'm always, you know, trying to, you know, seek knowledge, you know, up my emotional intelligence. I also attended a training out in LA, MITT. It pretty much helps you to really go back to your childhood, dig deep, do the inner work, that shadow work, connect with your inner child, face a lot of things that we often block out and we don't realize is holding us back from going to the next level. You know, I'm not a victim. I'm a leader.
Okay.
You know, yes, I still have my days. Who knows how long that's gonna be. But I also find comfort in knowing I'm resilient. I'm determined. I'm not gonna give up. My strength and help comes from God. And that's the person who validates me. You know, I appreciate, as a kid, the babysitter coming to me and saying what she said before she passed away. I also appreciate, y'all aren't gonna believe this, but she has a niece that's actually in the industry, a makeup artist, that reached out to me in LA a few years ago to meet, to discuss the same guy that molested me, molested her mom.
Jesus.
And that she wanted me to know that they believe me and they support me. That's been tremendous, you know, support for sure. But at this point, you know, it doesn't matter who believes me or who's in denial about, for whatever reason, whether it's their image or just their own self-conscious to help them sleep at night. You know, I still have to push forward and, you know, basically be a better example if I choose motherhood one day. And just also be a light and be a model for someone else out there that's on this journey. And, kind of obviously battling between blaming yourself, for basically other people's actions. It's a process.
It is a process.
It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen in a month. It may not happen in a year, You may have your days. Like I said, some days where you can see clear, some days where everything is foggy.
Yeah.
But you just got to keep going. And, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
So you're still on your healing journey.
I am.
I know that, Randy and I talk about healing all the time, and when you talk about the different levels of trauma, in my opinion, there's different time frames for healing. I don't know if I could have healed from something like that. I would just have to be totally honest, because that's a lot.
But I ask myself, what are you healing from? Are you healing from the trauma, the action trauma? Are you not healing from the fact that your trusted people did not believe you? See, that's the thing that would be hard for me to really forgive. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's no mental illness that comes with that side. There could possibly be some mental illness with this other side. But that's just a conscious decision from your trusted people. Is that, I start to ask, what level of healing are you seeking? That's the thing that comes to mind, because, he's gone. You know me, I'm big about, sometimes you're just not going to get the apology. But your parents are still here, and they still won't recognize that you weren't lying. That hurts more than anything.
Absolutely.
That hurts more than anything. It's like, you think I'm at my age, I'm still lying about something from when I was 5? I'm not lying to you. Let's start with acknowledgement. You may not apologize, but at least acknowledge that you know that I'm not lying to you. And that's the thing that people don't think about when it comes to trauma. They don't play their role. They want to play the victim. Play your role. And then realize that your role might be the whole problem. And it's just amazing, we use these roles because Malan lives a picturesque lifestyle now. And I commend you. I do this when you don't even know it. I tell baby all the time, Malan is one of the most resilient people I know, because she's so determined. And I've been knowing you for a long time, and I've never seen you give up even when you're crying. You're going to make it regardless. You are a leader. You are a leader. You are a strong Black woman. You are an example of resilience. Never change that. Continue to be the example through your pain. But also show that you are strong enough to stand on your own, even when nobody wants to hold you up. And that's what's beautiful to me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I said we weren't gonna wrap. We weren't gonna do a closing on this episode, but I feel like
We definitely should.
I feel like we got it. I feel like we got it.
And you know what? It's okay. See, that's the thing. It's just, this is like perfect.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to be okay.
That's it.
It don't have to be this novel. Sometimes a haiku will give you what you need.
Well, folks, at the end of these episodes, Randy always has that one-liner that closes it out. It's like, I don't even know why I'm going to close it out. The camera should just stop, because that was it. Malan, tell the people where they can find you.
You all can find me on Instagram at MALAN.B. You can follow my fan page on Facebook. It's Malan B, MALAN-B. You can also find me at my website. That's www.malanb.com.
All right, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in to A Seat. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, A Seat with Randy and Demi. Of course, at Truth Coach Randy and at the Demi How. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Real House. We'll see you on the next episode.